Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Happy New Year! I hope all of you had a good holiday, and today I am going to be talking about my favorite things of 2023. The list is gonna range from movies to animes and TV shows, plus some honorable mentions. I will say I love doing these types of lists, especially because I just love to watch my top 10 movies of the year and stuff like that. So let's start with movies. We have two movies that were released in 2022, but they only became available to a broader audience in 2023. The first of them that I want to talk about is Sanctuary. This movie is about a client trying to break things off with his dominatrix. It all happens in an apartment, a confined place, and the tension keeps getting higher, which leads to a power play of who's in charge. I love movies that two people have to talk things through, and I was very surprised at how invested I got in it. The build-up is so good, you don't know who to cheer for or who to trust really. And it sort of becomes a study of this chemistry, their sexual tension and their tactics, until we reach a moment of truth and there's no other choice but to them to be vulnerable. The actors are fully committed, the camera work is fun, and the soundtrack is a solid presence. I will say that the ending is kinda insane, so if you wanna check out for yourself, please do. It is a movie that has stayed on my mind since I watched, and I'll go back and forth about rewatching it. Another movie that I've only checked out this year was The Banshees of Inisherin. It's about these two friends, and one of them simply decides that they don't want to be friends anymore, and the other just can't quite understand why he made that choice. He starts to try to understand the situation by asking him stuff, and the friend who just doesn't want to be friends with him anymore basically starts taking some drastic change to be left alone. Can you imagine if one of your friends went to that drastic of an action just because they don't want to speak with you anymore? Like, if you don't leave me alone, I will do some things that I will make you feel guilty for. It is one of those movies that you are left thinking a lot about it. Definitely impresses you, surprises you. Now, the other movie I want to talk about is Past Lives. I had a rocky start with Past Lives. I will say that my first watch was not the most pleasant just because it was raining, and I think that I couldn't quite absorb what it was being shown to me. Then I rewatched it on my own, and it is a special movie. It's about these two kids who one of them is moving to Canada, so they stop talking until their 20s when they reconnect again, and then in their 30s. It's hard not to compare to the Before trilogy in the sense of the passage of time and how it affects both of them, but this movie really brings more than just that question. It also touches upon the culture and one's personal goals, just how romance plays into their lives, and just how that thing of meeting special people, once that you connect, it's a rare thing. It does qualify as those movies that almost feel like real life, that you're able to portray real life in a way that it actually feels real and it doesn't feel like you're watching fiction. And I don't think there's a more human movie that released in 2023. At least in a romance perspective, no, there's nothing quite like what Past Lives did. Realistic romances, they can be heartbreaking, but they're so good. The other movie that I want to mention is The Holdovers. It's about this group of kids who have to stay in school during the winter break, and the teacher in charge is a kind of a grumpy old man, and there's the cook, is a woman who lost her son recently. The movie is set in the 1970s. Talk about a movie that just speaks about wounds in the most natural way and funny way also. Open up to another person and just letting them help you through your pain and just making you sort of a better person. It's easy to understand why they don't like the teacher, but then we see why he is the way he is We also start to understand everyone's pain. It's hard not to love the holdovers, and it's perfect for Christmas time. Lastly, in movies we have Passages. We're getting right back into messy people, getting into messy relationships, and just not knowing boundaries. Passages is about this egocentric director who meets a woman in a bar. He is married to another guy, and he starts having a relationship with that woman while his marriage is crumbling apart, until he basically starts fighting for both of them. What a perfect movie to just show you how people have feelings. I know that's something that everyone should be aware of, but some people are just not. It's such a roller coaster. This is like my Shiva baby of the year. This is the movie that kept me getting inches and inches until the end. Now let's talk about some anime, because we had some pretty good anime this year. Starting with Oshinoko, or My Star. I almost don't want to give away anything. Go watch the first episode and prepare to be blown away. Just to give you something, it deals a lot with the idol industry in Japan, and it is about this idol gets pregnant and has to have the baby in secrecy, because if the tabloids get a grip about it, her career would be over, because an idol is supposed to be seen as this pure thing. And from that point on, things just go downhill in a way that you could not imagine. It's just a study of this industry and about this mystery that is going to surround all of this. It's no surprise that it's one of the best animes of 2023, but if you never heard of, it's one to definitely check it out. Now getting to more of the sweet side of anime, I have here Skipping Loafer. Skipping Loafer is such a cute anime, but it's also so caring of its characters. It's the story about this countryside girl who comes to live in a big city. She wants to work in politics so she can make her small town be more recognizable, to people see how amazing it is. And her perspective of things as someone who was born in the countryside comes into all these town folks, people from Tokyo, and she just gives them a new perspective. She enlightens them in a way. She breaks what is considered normal to them. Like, there's this guy who is the most handsome guy of the classroom, and of course they meet the first day of going to school, and she becomes friends with him right away, and there's a whole dynamic between the two of them that is interesting to see flourishing throughout the episodes. I just like when they treat the characters with such respect. We get to actually know the cast of these characters. They're not just side characters for her story. They have their lives, and we get to understand why they feel the way they feel. It's just their feelings are valid, and I love it. Still in the wholesome zone, we have Insomniacs After School. It's about these two teenagers who have insomnia, and by chance they meet up, share their situation with each other, and we get to see the development of these two characters and their love story, but also the pains of being a teenager. Most of the times things are kept inside and not properly let out. The development of Maguri and Nakami is lovely to watch as they slowly unravel their fears and grow together. It feels organic as two teenagers would fall in love. It's the kind of thing that I want to see in coming of age stories, just development, vulnerability, and seeing these two teenagers coming into their own. And as a night owl, I think that this is a present because it just gives compassion to this sort of situation. I don't have insomnia per se, but I do like to spend the night awake if I can. On the more adventure side of things, we have Zone 100, Bucket List of the Dead. The show starts with this 20-something working in a company. They abusing of him, is killing the life that has inside of him, this job. And so a zombie apocalypse starts and he decides to make 100 things before he turns into a zombie. He becomes his positive self again, starts to see life as like, I can die tomorrow, right? Especially in the zombie apocalypse. So let me just do what I can with what I have. I just love these kinds of stories where people have the power of change in them, and then they have a positive influence on you. It is definitely the most touching adventure anime that I got around last year. To finish it off, we have Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. And yes, some people are gonna say that it is a TV show, but like, have you seen the animation style? It's inspired by anime. It is a Scott Pilgrim anime. But anyways, I'm a really big fan of the Edgar Wright movie. I just love that this version of the Scott Pilgrim is like sort of a reimagination, highlighting to Ramona's story. It deepens her reflections and accountability on the character that was cool but felt way too mysterious for me. I can't help but love this direction, not just for her but the side characters too. The Scott Pilgrim cast is packed, so to see them fleshed out is awesome. This is just really a present for Scott Pilgrim fans. Going into TV shows, I only have to talk about sequels. Yeah, I don't think I watched a new TV show that really impacted me. Let's start with Good Omens Season 2. Good Omens has to do with the story of an angel and a devil being friends, but hiding that from their respective high commands. And so they have to accomplish things on Earth for each side, and they help each other out from time to time. In the first season, they have to deal with the Armageddon, and in the second season, they have to deal with a particular angel who seems to have lost his memories. And I'm gonna get this right off the way. There isn't more lovable characters than Aziraphale and Crowley. This ineffable duo brings charm, humor, and emotion to all the chaos surrounding them, which is why it's so fun to go through time and see their relationship bloom. And lastly, Our Flag Means Death Season 2. I have made a video essay on my channel saying how the first season is just so amazing because it redefined pirates on screen. It just gave something fresh to us who likes these pirate stories. Since I can't really talk about it much because it would get into spoilers, I would just say that the story is about a group of pirates who are considered misfits amongst the pirate society. And Steed is a gentleman who just decides to become a pirate, and Blackbeard is the most feared pirate of all. And they meet, and things take a turn after that. And I just love this pair so much, you have no freaking idea. I was so excited for season 2. Okay, I'll go quick through some honorable mentions. Those are things that I loved as well, but not as much as the ones that I've mentioned. We have Asteroid City. It's probably the most intimate approach I've seen from Wes Anderson, because we get the point of view of a playwright to the director to the cast. They're all bringing form to art while questioning how to get there. We also have Nimona. A knight framed for a tragic crime teams with a scrappy shape-shifting teen to prove his innocence. There's also Beef. This show just has so many layers that it's hard to point out everything that makes it a really great time. The build-up from the start to the finish line is one giant roller coaster that constantly plays with expectation. As a viewer, we get so involved in this so-called beef that it's hard not to imagine the worst is yet to come, and when you think it did, the more is about to go down. Rage World? Not a good idea to partake in it. This show really shows you why. There's also Horimiya: The Missing Pieces. Horimiya is an anime that I revisited this year, and it just reassured me how amazing of a story it is. It feels very real at times, and it was nice to see just a little bit more of them, just these slice of life pieces. And lastly, the Yuzuki's Family 4 Sons. This is a story about 4 brothers who their parents passed away recently, and now they're left to their own to understand this new family dynamic. We have the older brother who is a 20-something, a teacher. We have 2 brothers who are 12-year-olds, and like one was born a year of difference between the other, but they are in the same class in a way. And we have the younger brother who is very supportive and wise for his age. Each episode is just deepening these characters' emotions, and they're dealing with the grief and dealing with the friendships that they have. I thought it was so well done, a really well-made drama. finally, what I'm excited for, aka things that were probably made onto the list if I got to watch them in 2023. Poor Things, Anatomy of a Fall, All of Us Strangers, Right Lane, and Problemista. I want to check out those movies so bad, especially Poor Things. Hopefully I can do that soon. 2023 was a challenging year, I will put for myself, but as anything in life, when you least expect it, things come at you, right? So I guess we just gotta be ready for those moments, or at least be ready in the way of we can get through them, you know? I really enjoy making videos, so really thank you for sticking around and enjoying my videos. It is lovely to see your reactions. And that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!